CinematicCritic, fresh off from watching the end of Rocky and Bullwinkle. That said, I have seen the movie a couple of times, and I do know the whole plot. I loved it as a kid, but as an adult who knows how movies are supposed to work, it's lost its entertainment value. I don't even really find it all that funny anymore. So I thought, why not do a cinematic critic review on it? Another cinematic quickie. Uh, this one probably a little longer than my other ones, but anyway, I think it's best described, I hear it constantly described in other videos as a bunch of scenarios put together, just like trying to combine everything. Yeah, combine several Rocky and Bullwinkle episodes into a live-action film where the bad guys, Boris Badenoff, Natasha, and Fearless Leader, are all turned into live-action humans, and Rocky and Bullwinkle are computer-generated. Okay? And yet at the same time, the same rules that apply to Rocky and Bullwinkle apply to the other three who are turned into humans. It's not that well described, and the movie obviously isn't trying to describe it that way. We do get the Rocky and Bullwinkle narrator through this whole thing. We get some characters like Agent Sympathy, Karen Sympathy. We get some... Basically, they strip away all the character of Rocky and Bullwinkle, and they have to give it back as the movie goes on. So it's like they shove Rocky and Bullwinkle back to when they didn't have any character. And this movie is the development, or as it is, redevelopment of their characters. They want to save the trees, but that's not what the movie is about. The movie is about them stopping Fearless Leader from taking over our world when he comes to our world from the cartoon world, somehow right out of the TV. It's a silly setup, but it is a silly movie. It's great for kids. That's why as a kid I enjoyed it, but as a cinematic feature, I don't know. In addition to the narrator, there are several fourth wall breaks in this film, including this one line that everyone cites, which is where Karen's sympathy is like, or where Bullwinkle, like, I know he's not super smart, but he's not smart at all in this. Everything he does is actually the action of someone else, even him saving the movie. It's all Rocky, the squirrel, lion squirrel. It's all Rocky. Honestly, he's the brains throughout this whole entire thing, and it's basically him versus Fearless Leader, and Bullwinkle is, well, I only ever saw a couple episodes of the Rocky Bullwinkle cartoon, but I'd watch those couple episodes that I saw of the cartoon all at once instead of watching this movie, because I found those funnier. I found those had more of a narrative plot. I mean, how can that be? Because across each episode, at least the one that I remember, where I guess he had some secret recipe. I don't remember the name of it. It was the only one I owned on DVD. But getting back to this movie, we got Karen's Sympathy. I said the fourth wall break, which is where Karen says, "I don't know, I didn't write the movie, I'm just one of the characters." Yeah, I kind of think that was a miss there. It's kind of like the movie is looking for a cop-out as to why it's not good. I think that the only great thing that came out of this movie is I found the song Dreamer by Supertramp. And that was just recently. I was like, I want to know what that song is, and I looked it up because a lot of why is it all the bad movies get the good songs and, you know, they don't use them? Dreamer is used twice in this and it's only a portion. So if you're wondering what that song is, it's called Dreamer. It's by the band Supertramp. It's a really good song. You should go out and buy it because you hear about 30 seconds of it in this film. I can't focus because there's not. This film really is just like a cartoon. There's really not a great big narrative plot. They have to stop Fearless Leader from taking over the world and turning them into vegetables for the television vegetables by really bad television, RBTV. And in the end, they end up getting back their forest. Something to do with Fearless Leader wanting to be president. And that's why he's using really bad TV to... Just the name. I get it's a cartoon. But just say that a couple times. Really bad television. And it starts out with a third of the world already having watched that. If someone told me that there is a channel out there called Really Bad Television, well, to be totally honest, I would probably watch it just to give it a 1 out of 11, because I still haven't been able to give it 1 out of 11, but maybe not. And if I knew if I knew Really Bad Television was gonna mind control me, I would never turn that TV on. I mean, I'd never turn it to that channel. So you're gonna tell me that a third of the world turned to the channel, and you're gonna tell me that after a third of the world, after a big amount of people turn on this channel and get their mind controlled, that other people are gonna do it too? This is just such a flawed setup. And this has got the longest act 2 of any movie that I've ever seen. You've got Keenan and Kel in this. Keenan Thompson and Kel Mitchell, and they show up for a couple of minutes to do this scene where Rocky, who has not been able to fly, I forgot to mention, because he's sort of losing it, like I said, character development kind of going down, and that's really where the first character development happens, about an hour into the movie, where he has to rescue Bullwinkle, or 45 minutes in the movie, I guess. I think the most interesting characters in this were Boris Badenov and Natasha. Really? But even they had a chance to go somewhere with that, and they pretty much forget it all. So while Rocky and Bullwinkle do get their characters back, Natasha and Boris kind of lose theirs. And Fearless Leader, pick any episode and he's better than he is in this film. I think that as far as adaptation goes, this is one of the worst I've ever seen. It's great for a laugh, for a one-time watch. I will give it that, but it's for kids, okay? If you're an adult, and you're looking for a nostalgia value, like me, like if I had just watched this movie, not as a kid, but just now, that was my first time watching it, there'd be no nostalgia value to the cartoons for me. There still isn't really a nostalgia value. Even when I saw it as a kid, there really wasn't a nostalgia value because, as I said, I only ever saw a couple episodes. I am at some point going to go back and look at Peabody and Mr. Sherman, the cartoon version that came out recently. And like I said, why do bad movies have to have good songs? I can't say that Peabody and Mr. Sherman is bad. I haven't seen that yet. But like that one introduced me to a song I was looking for called Pompeii. This one introduced me to Dreamer. Yeah. Interesting. Every movie's got to have that song that I've been looking for years, and this one did that. I mean, anytime I think of this movie, to be totally honest, as a kid, or as a teenager when I hadn't watched this movie, the only thing that came to me in mind was ba 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 da 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 da, and I finally found out that was called Dreamer by Supertramp, and I was like, yes, finally, can get the song out of my head and onto my iPod. But seriously, that's what came to my mind when I think, anytime I think Rocky and Bullwinkle, the live action movie, I only think of that flying scene. The only good scene I think of is that flying scene where Rocky has Agent Sympathy and you've got Dreamer by Supertramp playing in the background. That's what I think of this. So, I guess that if I was going to recommend it, if you're a kid, you're going to find it funny. If you're a teen, no, not really. If you're an adult, look for a nostalgia value. You're better off going back and watching one of the cartoons than watching this. As a kid, I probably would have given this a 7 or maybe even an 8, but as a critic now, I don't want to recommend that you skip it because I still think it might be worth one watch. So I will leave it on the consider list, but I'll give it the lower consider, a 5 out of 11, the uh-oh disappointing. Well, I spoke about this for 11 minutes. Let's see. Can I sum this up in something? I mean, I really know, because there are just several crazy plot points that do drive the main plot, which I have mentioned, to stop Fearless Leader once again from taking over the world with really bad television. Yeah, that's the plot. You know, you've got several admittedly funny things that happen. You've got this Karen gets, after that fourth wall break, she gets put in jail because she's framed by Fearless Leader or something. You've got the college scene. You've got Boris Badenov has this thing that can not destroy cartoons like in Roger Rabbit, but can send them to the internet. And you do actually, the cartoon that it's first tested on, you actually see him later in the movie when Bullwinkle is surfing the web. Yeah, funny how that works. And the humans in this, like the average everyday humans, I can't get into this movie. I mean, I got through it, but I just can't give it a recommend. Consider it. If you're in for the mood for a couple of laughs, it will be funny the first time. I will say that, but after you watch it once, you probably aren't going to watch it a second time.